Now I feel an obligation to my children. I name my children all Arabic names or Muslim names. I want them to identify with their heritage, never to be ashamed of their heritage. I don't think my parents were ashamed of their heritage more so than didn't want to be discriminated against because of it. There was maybe one or two girls that would wear the hijab when I was growing up and going to high school. Now it's common. Nobody even thinks twice about it. You see it all over the place.
This teddy bear was a gift from my husband for me when I came back from Hajj. Her name is Hadra, and he went to a teddy bear factory and made me one with a hijab. So a Muslim teddy bear.
دعست عليها امشي من هون. Get away from the middle. Okay.
For Adel and his kids, Muslim culture is out of reach.
Get away from the bushes.
The nearest Muslim school is nearly 50 miles away and is undersubscribed.
I tried to let them enroll to a Muslim school, but it was very far from here. It was about like 45 minutes each way driving. And I did take them for the first day. But my son did not like it because in his grade, there was only 6 people, including him, 5 of them girls.
So Omar has no Muslim friends. His only playmate is his sister, Dana.
Dana, since she really started her life in America, with school and the TV and everything, and me being busy at the same time, I can see it's going to be a tough mission to bring her up on the Islamic faith.
انت قاعد هناك برا؟
Whilst her grandmother is staying, Dana has the influence of a traditional Muslim woman. But very soon, her granny will be returning to Jordan. Tariq's new dream home is designed so he can have his whole family living together. It's the deluxe version of an old cultural tradition.
This is the backyard of our house, and as you can see, we're going through some construction right now. Just trying to create enough space for each family member in there. And for the time being, my parents are over there. Then we have our kitchen and in the middle, then our living area. Then Summer and I, my wife and I are over here, and our kids are right next to us.
The very first bit of the house to be built was for Tariq's grandparents to live in. Then came the gym.
Every morning, whether I'm here or not, my grandfather's always here. So it's nice to have some company.
Being under one roof with the entire extended family has had a real impact.
First of all, it has made me a little bit more religiously aware. And the reason for that is because I see my parents praying every single day, 5 times a day. I see my grandparents doing it. As a result, eventually my wife was doing it, and my kids are. It's instilled a lot more religious awareness in us as a joint family unit than had I been living by myself or just with my family and my own kids.
Despite the move to America, Tariq's parents brought him up the old-fashioned way.
At the age of 24, which is relatively young, I got married, but I got married the traditional way. I had an arranged marriage, which, I mean, I had say in who I was going to marry, but I didn't know my wife before we proposed, but she was my sister's best friend. Sada said he can only stay till 2:30. They said that they may come for a little while.
So, the first thing I'll be doing will be shaking her hand.
I travel a lot, and I have a great sense of comfort knowing that when I leave, that's one person out of 14 that's left the house. So there's still 13 people living in the house and looking after each other and taking care of each other.
In fact, Tariq was in London on the day of the September 11th attacks.
We don't know what we're gonna do. We are upset about what happened. The same thing, we are scared. We feeling we are not free. Everybody looking to his side, what's gonna happen to him.
I came back to work the next day. I was still in shock. I still felt very confused as to what my response should be. And it's difficult because you just keep seeing the same images over and over again, and you get very little information. But at the same time, you've got to come to grips with what's happening. And I knew that being Muslim and having being identifiably Muslim, that people at the firm were going to come in and ask me what I thought, and does the religion allow things like this, and what's the religion's perspective on suicide bombing? And those are difficult questions.
The more they use the word Islam and Muslim to describe these terrorists, the more I was at risk of having potential family members retaliated against just because they practice that faith and that religion.
You definitely feel the stares and the looks and people not wanting to sit by you on the train, or people will get up and move if they don't want to be around you because they're wondering what you're doing, or they're kind of looking you up and down to see why you're on the train.
Texas had the highest incidence of revenge attacks against Muslims. Adele could have been a target.
I did not expect anything to happen because they all know who am I, and as a matter of fact, I was really moved when I saw a lot of customers and a lot of neighbors and people, even authorities here, come in and telling me, here's my number, here's this, if you have any problem, call me.
I feel sorry for the people that lost their lives. There were Muslims in that building. There were Christians. There were Jews. There were innocent people. There is no excuse for that. Now people are unfortunately looking at everything that is Muslim in a negative way. You cannot judge the religion by the actions of these people. It's not a religion of vengeance and hate. It's a religion of tolerance.
Regular Muslims feared their religion was being tainted by an atrocity carried out in its name.
I saw programs on television where I saw the CIA and the FBI and the president expressing their opinion of Islam and breaking down the 5 pillars of Islam. That blew my mind. That blew my mind. I was in the house watching it with a friend of mine, and I was running around the house yelling, and he was looking at me like, what's the big deal? And I'm like, you don't understand. President Bush is expressing to the world that Muslims are not the enemy.
With patriotism soaring, American Muslims had to examine their allegiances.
There's so many of us that have family, in other countries. I mean, Pakistan was a major kind of playing force in the beginning because it was a question of whether it was going to align itself with the States or with Afghanistan and what it was going to do. And I think for those of us that had family and relatives there, it wasn't so simple as you're either with us or you're with them, because of course we condemn the attacks, but we don't believe that means that the government should just go out and carpet bomb Afghanis, And there was just so much jingoism and so much, support American troops. And, you know, how could this have happened in America, and America strikes back, and America's retaliation, and we will not stand for this, and this is a threat to our freedom. And it really put pressure, I think, on the Muslims to decide whether they were going to be American or whether they were going to side with Muslim nations.
خليك قاعد بابا. في الابيض جاي مع جارليك صوص، في الاحمر جاي مع بابريكا صوص، في بدل في ذرة وفي الابيض جاي ذرة.
I haven't put an American flag up because I don't feel that I need to wear my patriotism on my arm, or I know who I am and what I am and what type of patriot I am. If I was called to war, I would serve this country.
Ali did serve at Fort Bragg, North Carolina in 1984.
It is my duty, according to Islam, the way I understand Islam, to defend America. If Mexico, I'm close to Mexico here, if Mexico attack America, it is my duty as a Muslim, because this is the country I'm feeding my family. Wherever you live and you're feeding your family and you're living in that country, you should defend it. So that's the teaching of Islam. If you're living in an area and this area got attacked, Islamically, you should defend it. Islamically, not American-wise, not because I swore when I got the citizenship. No, Islamically, you should defend the country you're residing in.
Prior to September 11th, I never felt different. I felt that I was just as American as anybody else, and I felt that that nobody ever looked at me differently, or I ever looked at anybody else differently. And because of my business, I interact constantly with all types of people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different mindsets. And not once, and even during school, I mean, not once did I ever feel, gee, I'm a little different than these guys, and I feel it. However, after September 11th, you know, you feel slightly different. You feel that people maybe look at you a little different. People are a little bit more curious about, you know, your mindset, your thinking, your beliefs.
More than 100,000 Muslims enter the United States every year, all looking for a better life and the freedom to live it.
When I was young, I wished to go to any country outside Egypt, in Europe or America. But I prefer America because everybody dreams about America. It's easy to live in America, it's easy to get a good job, it's easy to get a good college and a good study in a college, to be a good man, has office, has a company. That's why I dream.
It would have been a lot more difficult for me to achieve what I've achieved here had I stayed in Pakistan. I don't think I would have been given access to the same opportunities that I was given by being here in the United States.
Yeah, I should have brought a jacket. You want mine? It's okay, I'll almost stand. Sure?
We are Muslims, we are Americans, and we're here to stay. We love this country. We came here for this country to make a better opportunity for our families and to give them more things in life, and that's why my grandfather came here.
For over 100 years, Muslims have been allowed to thrive here. The attacks of September 11th have shaken their communities to the core and thrown their position into question. Now, with the rest of the nation, American Muslims must continue building their lives.
That one attack has thrown this country into a tailspin. And I think we can recover. I hope we can recover. I've got a family I want to raise in this country.
Oh, yeah? So is it good? It's all right. You know, I'm a chocolate freak.
Playmate is his sister, Dana.
Dana, since she really started her life in America with school and the TV and everything, and me being busy at the same time, I can see it's going to be a tough mission to bring her up on the Islamic faith. To let them enroll to a Muslim school, but it was very far from here. It was about like 45 minutes each way driving. And I did take them for the first day. But my son did not like it because in his grade, there was only 6 people, including him, 5 of them girls.
So Omar has no Muslim friends. He's only
دعست عليها امشي من هون. Get away from the middle. Okay.
For Adele and his kids, Muslim culture is out of reach.
Get away from the bushes.
The nearest Muslim school is nearly 50 miles away and is undersubscribed.
I tried to...
Girls that would wear the hijab when I was growing up and going to high school. Now it's common. Nobody even thinks twice about it. You see it all over the place.
This teddy bear was a gift from my husband for me when I came back from Hajj. Her name is Hadra, and he went to a teddy bear factory and made me one with a hijab. So a Muslim teddy bear.
Now I feel an obligation to my children. I name my children all Arabic names or Muslim names. I want them to identify with their heritage, never to be ashamed of their heritage. I don't think my parents were ashamed of their heritage more so than they didn't want to be discriminated against because of it. There was maybe 1 or 2